Hey, welcome to the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute with your host, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest, Alan Bishop. Hey, this channel is all about home distilling and legal distilling. If you've got questions, reach out to us in the comments below, social media, or via bishopshomegrown@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out thealchemistcabinet.com.
Rinsing, or we're just going?
I would just go. These are heavy enough. You'll be okay.
I did a tiny rinse. I did baby rinse. You do a baby rinse and just drink it.
Smell that now.
That,
the gin. I haven't rinsed or anything.
is B-roll. Alright, here, you want this rinse?
So we're back again. Now we have 3 samples from our friend Stephen Osborne up in New York. For those of you who are not familiar with Stout Ridge.
Yes, Stout Ridge Distillery and Winery.
Shout out to my Northeasterner.
So Stephen does lots of really interesting, unique things. He has really interesting still setups, including a wooden still that we're going to taste something from here in a little bit. He has a new series out, and I don't remember what he called the series. Do you remember what
It is the Obtanium series.
Right. And so we did a whole episode on that on Distiller's Talk where I did I think it was 12 spirits in a row.
I would say, how do you feel about that? Because I listened to that, and
it was
as the episode went on, I was like, yep, Alan's doing well.
I enjoyed every bit of it, but it was a lot for one go.
It was a lot for one go. I will say, though, you didn't seem soused. I think you held it. I've seen some episodes where you got wasted, but I don't think this was one of them. Because you were actually texting me in between, and you're like, "Oh my god!"
Right.
I think that was the most excited I've heard you be on some of the things.
All of them were super unique, and there were 3 of them to me that really stood out. There's
and I'll preface too. I was very hesitant going into the episode because there was a lot going on botanically with a lot of these spirits. So is Alan's palate going to be blown out after 2?
Yeah.
And he was fine all the way through. He was able to pick out different notes.
So Tiff, these ones, and I don't know if it's these ones in particular, but he does a lot of stuff that kind of pays homage to Egyptian.
Okay, so what I was just going to say, on the nose, it reminds me as if I'm walking into a crystal store. That sells crystals
with the incense and everything.
Yes.
And he would love to hear that.
And then it also reminds me, on the palate of that new star drink, I don't know what it is.
Oh, the fake Sprite?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me.
So this one is
very sweet.
Damascene Slivovitz. So with cardamom, angelica, sage, and 10% sugar. So it is a liqueur. So the base is Slivovitz brandy made from local plums, particularly.
It's almost like an effervescent Schliebo.
Yes, very much so.
I have no clue what this is.
So Schliebo is just how you pronounce it, Slivovitz.
It's a plum brandy. Plum brandy.
Okay.
Depending on your dialect.
There it is again. It's coming out.
But you can definitely pick up the plum base on that for sure. The sage is well on the nose.
Yeah, I'm not.
And it's not too sugary.
No.
I've had some Schliebos that are very sugary. They're almost like crystallized sugar in the background. And this one, I'm not getting that. I still
very restrained.
Yeah, you can still get sugar, but it's not grainy.
And he told us on the show, and I can't remember, but to me, all of the liqueurs that he did that had any sugar added to them, they all felt like confectioner sugar on the tongue.
Yes.
They don't feel like raw sugar.
It's not heavy. It's velvety almost.
Yeah.
So where I'm at on this is we just went through a full course meal of everything that we tried, and this is dessert.
All 3 of these are going to be in that same digestive.
But it's still a savory dessert, though, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are exciting things because there's nobody else doing this, and of course he has a market in New York that he can market these things to. If you try to do this in Southern Indiana, people are going like, "What the fuck is that?" And what do I do with it?
Yeah, of course.
Right.
I mean, because you've got such a eclectic, different cultural backgrounds there in New York.
But he is actually he's a Hoosier. He's from Mitchell, Indiana. That's where he's from.
Oh, really? That's over by us.
Yep.
So there's one thing, Ellen, I don't know if you got this. This is a textural thing that happens. The front palate starts. So imagine you got a square, but you've got the triangle thing going on. It's just comes like this. So the bottom palate's coming, the front palate's coming right here across the bottom. And as that's happening, the back palate is hitting too right here. They're alighting.
the other thing that I get too, and I got this from all of his liqueurs, all of this series that I really like. He made very good use of bittering agents.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
Like the
still
Angelica.
there's still bitterness here, but it's on the finish and it's on the side of the tongue,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just enough to let you know
Mm-hmm.
that it's there.
And this is good.
What would be there? Just because I'm stupid. What is there that you always describe like VA, something that's went a little bit too far, like a wine, and there's a little bit
plums.
of that would be what that is. Okay, because there's a little bit of that vinegar thing there, but it's not almost like a sweet plum vinegar or a sweet red wine vinegar or something.
Right.
It's kind of character of the
Yeah.
liquor too.
It's just
Yeah.
the acidity from the plums because he's using multiple different varieties. So I don't know what the name variety is for the. So he uses. I know he uses the damson plums, but then I've seen the videos. He's also using red plums, and then he's using what I presume are green gauge plums, which are these big yellow plums, and they just sort of have that sort of taste and flavor
And
to them.
I think that's what's giving it a lot of structure too.
Yeah.
Is that there's all those different levels of astringency and sweetness going on, and I think it gives it tiers of flavor. So it
Yes.
blends.
Yes.
Because
It's not overly sweet then.
once you think it, so it's like the
It's like the chewing gum from Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
yes.
You're
You
like-
go through different, yes.
So the whiskey we had a while ago that was too astringent or dry for her. This, once you think it's going to be too much, it goes back to sweet.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
once you think it's going to be too sweet, there's a little bit more of that stringency. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Oh, he did a great job with it for sure, and it's definitely alchemical stuff that he's doing here with building those flavors. And to be clear, like on the show, if that had been 12 whiskeys, I'd have been fucking plastered.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But because this is what it is with the different botanicals, most of them have some lucidity qualities, just like absinthe botanicals do, so that you're not just getting completely destroyed.
Yeah. And I do enjoy that front sticks around.
Mm-hmm.
As you're going through the rest of that journey, as Justin was describing, the front pellet's sitting right there, and it's kind of just slowly, like, it's not as fast, it's coming up and creeping up along.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's
I
like
really
two
like
tracks
that.
together.
What do you guys think, scoring wise?
Mm.
I am going to give this, I'd go buy it right now, a 4.3.
So I will have a hard time scoring these because I'm used to
I like liquids.
rating or reviewing bourbons. But I'll go kind of like Tiff does. Would I go buy this right now? Absolutely. I don't know what I would do with it besides sip it just neat.
Yeah.
But
That's what I would do with all of them.
yeah, 4.3. That's awesome.
This screams summer to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 4.4, and really what's pushing it ahead for me, it's that mid-palate acidity that you were getting with, like, that, what we're thinking is probably a combination of plums. And the fact that it's not like so many other Schlievos I've had where they're also sugary and it's very singular in the fruit. I really enjoy this one. I enjoy what it keeps delivering.
Yes.
I'm going to give it a 4.7 because, A, I love Slivovitz in general, but this is a well-made Slivovitz that isn't overly aggressive. And then the botanical balance still lets the base come through. And his choice of botanicals was very, very interesting in terms of what he was doing here because he's made an excellent digestif
Yes.
in particular. Not something that you would sit down and drink much of, but to have a glass of it after supper,
Yeah.
100%.
And I love that addition of the Angelica. I think that was very smart.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's simply because of making so much into the herbs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking between
No.
us.
No,
There's a-
no.
That's not allowed.
I think
No side comments. You got to say them to the camera.
simply because I am into herbs right now. Well, have been, not just right now, but this is right along the line.
Very good.
Yeah.
The last one with the gin, and then these ones, it's more herbal forward for me.
Yeah. And I'll say it again, like I described in the beginning as very like effervescent. I still get that further in, where it's a nice contrast to the sweetness, and I think a lot of that is coming from the botanicals.
Here's another Willy Wonka thing.
Yeah.
It's fizzy lifting drink. You get
Yes.
that.
It's a easy
Yes.
lifting drink.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't lick the ceiling.
Don't lick the ceiling. Absolutely not.
Schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
Schnozberries.
All right, so the next one is Absinthe Prelude. We'll do a rinse again.
Yeah. You're definitely have to
Pass
rinse.
the rinse about.
Yep. So Stephen worked closely with another gentleman that we had on the show, JL Garza, who JL was kind of a member of this, for lack of any better,
Underground
Yeah.
Absinthe Society.
Secret society.
Years prior.
That's the best way to have absinthe, right?
So these guys were literally, along with Ted Bro, rebuilt. I should have just passed the ball with you guys before, whatever you want. I don't.
Right? Because that's absinthe, so
That's right there.
I'm holding out here, Alan.
So,
okay, God.
there you go.
Thank
I'm
you.
good, I'm good.
Good Lord Almighty.
So these guys, including Ted Bro, were all putting together pre-ban absinthes at home and trying to figure out what absinthe really was, what it really wasn't, etc. But Stephen was also interested in those things, and so he developed a number of absinthes after he and JL sort of parted ways. But one of the things that JL was always big on was talking about how the absinthe stills were typically tinned on the inside so that you don't get the copper effect, because you don't want that interfering. And so Stephen took that to the obvious extreme, and instead of even using a still made out of metal, he had a barrel made by Cooperage in New York that he set up as a wooden still with a copper pot still head, so that way the metal wouldn't interfere with the botanicals itself. And so this is what he calls Absinthe Prelude, and it's basically his take on a Swiss Blanche style absinthe.
And if I remember from the episode you all done,
Color's
he
gorgeous.
keeps what's left in the still in there to soak
Let it soak into the wood.
until he does his next run, and then takes the nasty, the leftover stuff out. I shouldn't say nasty, but the leftover water
Yeah.
out, and then runs again. So all that the oils and stuff are soaking into the wood prior to it running. So it's going to change every time too.
So right off the bat, and I'm having a brain fart right now. I get Fascination Street because there's a difference between, and I that's my brain fart. I can't remember what's the difference between our Fascination Street and Absinthe Blue.
So
One
they're,
is-
they're the same, it's just one's barrel aged.
Okay.
Basically.
I'm getting Fascination Street off of this.
Yep, and that's so that this is the one thing that I would say that for me, because I'm not. When I made the Le Bleu at Spirits of French Lick, I had to make it in a way that I thought would have mass appeal as opposed to making a true absinthe, and so I used a lot of star anise, which I'm not a big fan of.
Mhm.
This has got a pretty good proportion of star anise
It does.
in it. Versus green anise. And star anise is much more spicy. It's much more forward. It's not a bad thing. Certain people definitely like that. It's just not necessarily my thing. Now the absinthe overall, that's literally, because I've already tasted these, so I can be honest about it. The only critique I have of it is the star anise. But I think as far as the way that it was distilled, the other botanicals, the way that he built those botanicals, and that wooden still in general, I think that it's a fantastic distillation. I'm not sure that I would truly say that it's a Swiss Blanche style. It's definitely Stephen's style. It's not. It's too heavy to be a Swiss Blanche.
Yeah, it's a lot darker.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get more of like that black licorice type thing.
I hate
that
black
star
licorice,
anise.
but I love absinthe.
So-
I mean, I like black licorice. Don't get me wrong.
No,
Like
I do
love.
not.
I think it's very tasty.
But I
But
do love
it's
the lemon
different.
balm that comes out in this
Yeah.
on the nose in particular.
Yes.
So I'm going to do kind of like Tiff said and compare it to something else of yours, just because it reminds me of it. So I get like vanillas and
Vanilla's
mint
definitely there.
and the star anise on the nose, but also there's like a fatty protein type thing there.
Mhm.
It reminds me of the Pechuga on the
Right.
nose.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
very fatty.
By
And
the
I could
way,
tell it when we first poured
lemon
it
balm
in.
helps calm you down and
I-
helps you sleep.
Really like it a lot. I think it's a fantastic showing for an absinthe off of the wooden still. I think it's a good absinthe overall.
I would buy it.
I would absolutely buy it. I think,
Yes,
to be honest
I
with
would.
you, I think my problem is that I have in general is that it reminds me of my distillations, and I
Yeah.
don't.
Yes.
I don't even like my distillations in general. So,
I do.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Not
but-
because you're sitting here, but
Right.
I do love the absinthe.
Um,
Rum, on the other hand, we have to have discussions.
do you know spice wise? So do you know if he did like black pepper, grains of paradise, or
I don't
like
get none of that off
Because like there's a spice on the very back palate.
Yeah, we got
to
into
me,
it on the show, but I forget.
like,
Right.
and it's not. So
It's almost got like a Cuban type thing going on.
Yeah, I could see that.
what'd you say?
Alan just
Too bad.
wants us all to fart. That's why he's feeding us.
That's
this.
what it is.
So like there's a spice that hits way back here, and after it hits, there's almost like a murky type thing where
Whatever
it,
it is.
it
Is that water?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that louche though. Look, that's purple, blue. It's
Oh, wow.
gorgeous,
Oh, yeah.
very opalescent.
That is
So I remember on the show,
Fascination Street.
blue.
Yeah.
That's the exact color.
Yeah, it got the blue flash for sure.
All right. You're
Oh,
gonna,
look
you're
at
gonna
that.
hate me.
Okay, so
That
wait,
is
I
like
got a
Flash is
question.
midnight
better than
purple.
blue does.
The yellow one. Did you not
well,
use? Did you not use
It's the glass too. If you look down.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
the yellow one? Did you not use heavy anise on that?
I used heavy green anise, but
There
There's
is green
not.
anise.
so
Okay.
much oil on that. Like you can see it dancing up after we poured the water in for the louche. I will say it's a very stable color, and I
Very
really
beautiful color. Thank you. I couldn't get mine to focus.
One of
sometimes you got
the
to put your hand behind it.
one of the reasons that I'm not as big a fan of the star anise, and even in our Le Bleu and our Fascination Street, is because it does come off as that fake licorice flavor, right? And you don't get the tongue numbing effect that green anise gives.
Yeah.
But it's fucking delicious. It's good. You did a great job, and
Yes.
it's soft. And it's soft because of that barrel being distilled.
It is very soft.
I don't know what's causing this, but you know when you run the lawn and you run over some like the yard onions,
Oh yeah.
that oniony thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what
That's
it
Plains
is.
of
but
Paradise
Is
usually.
that what that is? Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It could be something else, but
I love that.
There might be a little nutmeg in that too.
I don't know what secret blend he has, but it's really good.
and that note that you're noting, Justin, comes out more on the louche.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't get it until it was loosed down.
And that's always the benefit of louching, is that
Yes.
you're really opening up the spirit.
Granted
I
that there's like
recommend
a
approaching
spice
absinthe.
thing there too that kind of, like I said, it reminds me of yard onions.
See, with mine, it's still
Do you think
anise,
it's cumin?
but it
Has he
has
got cumin seed in there?
He may have, because he did cumin and a couple of the
not
other
muddy
things.
or
There might be cumin seed in there, and that would explain
Could
that
be.
oniony flavor.
fresh.
We need to
not
get
onions.
the other
Or
thing.
if they put Nigella in there. But Nigella, I think, would have got a little acrid.
Yeah. We need to get a sample of Ron Rupert's Masala absinthe and do that sometime.
I still have some left.
Yeah, we need to.
I'll bring it forward, but we'll get
I
more of
fucking
it.
love that.
What's
It's
that
good.
one that I
The
got?
masala
you
is
up there?
great.
St. George.
St. George.
So-
St. George is good too.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I'll throw my rating out here on this, and all of Steven's stuff that he sent was fantastic, including this. And even though I'm not big on the star anise, I'd give this a solid 4.5 for an absinthe. It's certainly as good, if not better, than most of the commercial absinthes out there. And it stands on its own. It's its own thing. It doesn't like this. You're not going to compare this to a Jade,
No,
Boars
it's
thing.
completely different.
but of the same quality,
Yeah.
but just a different direction.
Okay, so hear me out. This is why I'm giving this a 4.8, simply because out of all the absinthes I've tried, it reminds me of Fascination Street, and that is my all-time favorite. And it's not just because Bishop's sitting right here.
But-
It is my favorite.
I actually think it's funny because Steven being from where he's from, I think there's kind of a character to people who are distillers in a certain region.
Yeah,
And
it
I
makes
think
sense.
he carries that same,
Yeah.
like, he grew up here, and so his culinary life has been very tied to this place, and I think that's why there's similarities between all the things that he makes and what I make.
I'm not saying it is Fascination Street, it just reminds me of Fascination Street.
So, and take this with a grain of salt because the only other Swiss style absinthe I've ever had is yours.
Right.
I've always ever just had Verde absinthe before that.
You know that other one I just bought you?
That's a Verde absinthe.
Oh, okay.
This has more of the vanilla character, I think, than that. And I like that in absinthe because it holds up to everything else that's there
Right.
and kind of creates more of a little bit of velvety thing. Yours has a great mouthfeel because of what's in there. I'm going to give that a 4.7. I
Yep.
like that a lot.
Ooh.
I'm going to give it a 4.5. And I'm giving that because I really appreciate the stability of the color and how quickly it louched. And that is a gorgeous louche. The different
It
colors
is.
you're seeing, it's almost like it's like you're having an experience.
Yes.
It's very mesmerizing. It's like you're on a boat and you're just looking at the colors and the water at moonlight. It's gorgeous and it's holding.
And I guarantee that would glow under black light.
Yes, I guarantee that
Well,
would
we're at the
definitely
beach
blow
and
the
it's
black.
dark.
My only critique would be that I wish that everything else could get past the star anise. It's very hard
Right.
to pick out some of the other botanicals. I understand, though, his use of botanicals did highly contribute to this louche. So I'm kind of torn between those two factors. But I do wish more had been able to come forward because of that.
All right, so we're gonna pause for a second because I got to check on something, and we have at least one more spirit, maybe two.
You good?
All right, so we're back with the however many spirits in however many minutes, and so we have special guests today. We've got Tiffany, who is off screen over here hiding, just gonna make like shitty remarks the whole time. And then we have Christi Atkinson from Distiller's Talk, and Christi has brought stuff to sample. Fair warning, I am hungover, so this might be interesting.
I think it's going to be fun. You'll be just fine. The best way to cure a hangover is just to have a little sip after. So
Just start drinking again.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we are actually starting with something from. This is not released through Dayton Barrel Works. This is our friend Bill Hawkins' private stuff that he is working on. It's his Sweet Corn Reserve. So far, it's at 20 months. The proof's 100.2.
And so, for those who don't know Bill was a protege of an actual protege, provable protege of Popcorn Sutton. One of the very few people who can actually prove that he did work with Popcorn Sutton and actually mashed in with him, distilled with him, etc. Popcorn building several stills. Bill's an excellent distiller. This is kind of based on something that Popcorn used to do with sweet corn. If you want all the details on that, you can listen to, I don't know what number episode it is, but
One of our most recent episodes of Distiller's Talk.
and Bill talks about all the details of this, but it's a multiple times sour mashed sweet corn base is what this is. And I remember the first time I ever got to taste this, I met Bill at Copper and Kings. He came to visit me and he brought me a pint of this, and I ended up spending the night at Copper and Kings.
How many months in was he when you had it first?
Oh, when I first had it, this was when he was making it at home.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know, it had been in a barrel, but I don't know what size barrel or any of the details, but it was really good.
And I think he mentioned he was using a Canton barrel, right?
Mhm. Yep, he uses Canton cooperage, and so that's a 48-month air-seasoned oak, just like you'll see in the Bad Motivator barrels.
He's getting 48 months.
Yeah,
Man.
yep. You can smell it for sure.
So what'd you say, Tiff?
I'm tasting some cherry.
Gotta be loud.
I'm tasting some cherry.
Some churd,
Cherry.
some cheer wine.
Sure one.
So I can definitely smell that sweet corn, and it
Yeah.
smells like when you open a can of sweet corn is what it smells like.
Yes.
Which I do a lot with sweet corn like that out of the can, but this is right out of the field. It's just he sour mashed it multiple times, backset it multiple times, and it really made that nose come forward. Quite a bit of vanilla on there, and some English toffee too on the nose.
I get this smoothness like weed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a really good, easy sipper.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't drink the fruit.
No.
And there's some like young oak on the nose. I know but it's not offensive like other young oak things.
What proof did you say it was?
100.2.
It's very sweet on the entry, and it's definitely sweet corn on the entry for me. It has a fantastic mouthfeel.
Very oily.
Yeah, especially for the base material that it's made out of.
I mean, look at the legs on that.
Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering how much of that is cuts versus how much of that is the barrel itself too, with that viscosity. But it's a fantastic just sipper. Like it's not overly complex. It's not overly heavy. It's sweet and it's round and it's mellow and it's all the things you want if you're not trying to just have a good time and get your tractor stuck in a sinkhole.
Right?
Very good mouthfeel.
And
You wouldn't know
as-
about that from experience, would you, Alan?
As soft and as mellow it is, though, it still has it's got a long finish.
Yes, it does. It does. And there's a little peppery note at the end, which is nice. Just kind of rolls back around. It's not very heavy at all. It's literally almost like when you take a sip of Dr. Pepper, where that spice kind of comes back at the very end.
Yeah.
So I'm curious where this one's going to go because it is still really young. And I don't know if you're getting this, Alan, but on the nose with the fattiness, I'm almost starting to get a little bit of that nougat type note.
Yeah, I can see that. Or almost like what do you call them? Like the Rolos
Yeah.
candy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to get like that really buttery fattiness.
I
like
would-
chewy candy.
I would be careful taking this too far in aging too, because I think you're gonna you're gonna overrun the base pretty easily, and it's
You lose those delicate sweet notes.
yes, you're gonna and lose that sweet corn note. And if you lose that sweet corn note, it's gonna defeat the purpose because Bill's done a really good job of capturing what sweet corn should be when it's distilled. Certainly did a
Yeah.
yeah, Werther's. Yeah, that,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
What, did you have flashbacks from the tooth thing?
Yes. Yes.
I
But it's
certainly
not too like caramelly.
No,
No.
no, just the creaminess of it.
Mm-hmm.
Bill has certainly done a better job here than Popcorn Sutton ever did with with making sweet corn whiskey. Speaking from experience, so not to put down Popcorn Sutton because a lot of distillers wouldn't be in the industry had he not inspired people to do illicit distilling. But Bill has definitely surpassed his teacher.
There's almost like a little bit of like red apple skin on there too.
Mhm.
A little brightness.
Yeah, almost like it's almost like a parboiled apple sort of thing, like a little bit with the skin, like just more the aroma than
Yeah, not the
Flavor.
flavor. Yeah, it just keeps it like a little bright
Oh, yeah.
freshness to it.
I really like it.
You know what we should do? We've never done this before, and it's kind of douchey. But since it's Bill, and he's such a good friend, and we have 4 people here to do it, we should implement a star rating system. Because that'll piss Bill off. You're welcome, Bill. All right, so of 5 stars,
Of 5?
of 5, right? 5 being exemplary, right? 1 being fucking trash.
Like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. We could probably not. We could probably. We'll come up with a 1-star award and name it after some distillery we don't like, but not right now.
My eyes lit up. I was like, I know which one.
Right, right. So where would you guys? We'll start with Tiff over there. You got to talk loud, Tiff.
Say it with a chest.
I'd give this one a 3.5.
3.5.
That's shit. That's what I was gonna say. I'd go 3.5 to 4.
I'm going to give it a 3.7. I think it's got a little bit more to go, but like Alan said, you don't want to go too far with it.
Yeah,
But I think it's well on the way.
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Somewhere between 3 and 4. I think this is within a year of being where it needs to be at pretty easily. I think if you can get that oak to talk just a little bit more without getting tannic, and I actually think that for probably another year there, you'll probably have that sweet corn. The contrast will really make the sweet corn sing in another year or so.
I'm curious what it's going to do to the finish too.
I would be curious if I were Bill, I would pull one of these barrels down, or at least a half a barrel, and get a French oak barrel and put French oak in it,
That'd be interesting.
especially try to pull some of that spicy note, some of the cinnamon from the French oak.
Yeah.
And just blend it.
Yep.
Bill can take mine, take it or leave it. I'm the tequila connoisseur. I'm just getting into the bourbon.
Carnosaur.
Carnosaur.
Carnosaur. Tequila carnosaur.
That's right.
It's a meat
Don't
eating
mock
dinosaur.
my thickness and my.
Listen, Carnitas. Good job, Bill. Great job.
Very much
Yes.
so.
Good
Really
job.
good.
Yeah. French oak. I want to try it on French oak, Bill.
Yeah.
I think that would really improve the mouthfeel.
I think it would help structurally big time, and I think also that, like I said, that cinnamon note that you can sometimes get out of French oak, I
Yeah.
think would.
It's almost like that cinnamon French toast.
See, I like the mouthfeel because it's not like watered down. It has like
Oh, yeah. It's got a
But
good.
with the oils, I almost want it to have more chew.
Right, right. Because it doesn't texturally. It doesn't have the chew. It has the oils, but it almost
It needs something to tie it together.
that kind of falls a little flat there as far as like you expect it to be heavier bodied than what it actually is once you
Yeah.
taste it. So, but no, fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
So this next one here, I'm pretty sure it is Dayton Barrel Works. I believe 125. I'm not sure if that's the proof point,
Fuck you, Bill.
but I'm pretty sure this is their distiller's blend.
I'm suffering through this with a hangover,
So
buddy.
I'm gonna pass this down.
Is
This
this
is one of their
Bill
more
as well?
premium products that they have.
A little bit.
Enough to go more. You said a little bit.
Bill is really good people. He, for years, I looked for an original copy of Popcorn Sutton's book and couldn't find it anywhere for less than $800-900. And Bill had Popcorn's wife Pam send me a copy, which is awesome.
I'm gonna get a smoke. I'll smoke on my nose.
I don't think I've ever got to meet Bill, have I?
Not yet. You definitely will, though.
Yeah. We keep trying to get Alan up to Ohio, it's really hard to do that.
I'm not allowed to leave Indiana.
We're supposed to spend a week there at some point.
I know. We gotta do Ohio, we gotta do Pennsylvania, and we have to do Texas. There's no
Oh,
way
you
we're
go to
not
Pennsylvania, let me know. That's my home state.
And honestly, Illinois. So those seem to be like our four
Yeah.
states that we deal with mostly.
I have a place to stay for Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Where Pennsylvania you going to?
Well,
I think most of ours are
over.
like, yeah, they're mostly like kind of down but close to Philadelphia, but then a little bit of western too.
I
Yeah.
was born and raised in Williamsport.
so we'd have to go to Bald
Okay.
Hills for sure.
I'm familiar with it. I spent 12 years in Poconos.
Ah, okay, yes, okay.
We are convinced
We can
that
stay at my
Christi is a fucking spy. She knows, like, I'm not going to let her talk. She's not going to defend herself. I'm just going to tell you. She knows multiple languages. Like, just sneaks that shit in there randomly. Like, oh, no fucking German, blah.
This is her true accent. She's really Russian.
If you only knew. If you only fucking
Look,
knew.
I'm getting a side eye.
Like,
so don't
all
get
the
my shit
weird, like, all the weird little things. Like, for sure, Christy's either a spy or in the witness protection program.
up. We've had
You
patients
were that
everywhere.
person. You remember? What was that John Cusack movie with the record store and all that stuff? And he calls. He looks up. He's going through his ex-girlfriends, and he's looking for Catherine Zeta-Jones, and he finds her phone number in the phone book, and he's like, "She's in the fucking phone book. She shouldn't be in the phone book." You're that person.
The one that's in plain sight.
Yes. That is super rich on the nose.
It
It is.
Don't ever test her. She'll pull out her ninja ass moves.
Right?
I hope I'm not the only one that gets this. Like, I get a lot of green apples.
I
on
get
the nose with that.
green apple, raisins, and sherry.
There's a
I don't
really
get cherry on
deep
this.
taste.
Sherry.
Oh, sherry. I was gonna say, I don't get the cherry
Right,
on
say
this
cherry
one.
or-
Yep, sherry.
Cherry.
It's almost like, to me, on the nose, it's almost like a sherry finish.
Yeah.
It's oxidative. That green apple's there. It's pretty. It's really pretty.
There's just right amount of tannin on there too, just to kind of
Part of
tie it
it.
all together.
I'm not keen on this one.
Okay. What do you? What do you
Yeah,
get
the
on
structure on the mouthfeel
A
is.
lot of pepper. Like, a lot of burning, tingling my tongue.
There's definitely some.
There's a botanical thing going on there
Yeah,
almost.
pepper / grains of paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a green pepper.
Yeah, yeah.
The bell pepper.
But
That's
it also
what-
with cinnamon.
The bell pepper.
Like
you
bell
don't.
pepper.
You don't do
Or
bell
not
pepper.
cinnamon, but like red hots.
But I love
Okay.
bell peppers.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it's
this
got
is
that
like a pepper.
vegetalness on it.
It's like
Pepper on your
the,
food pepper.
But it's almost got a little like green cardamom thing going on too.
yeah, I can see the cardamom, or even maybe a little almond. I'm not gonna say fucking
like black
marzipan,
No.
but almond.
Yeah. Well, and so.
Well, it's that
Alan told
spicy,
me
peppery, so like
the
you
difference
get
with
the
black
grains of
pepper and
paradise, they get that too with that
black pepper, like,
muskiness,
you know,
but it's leaning a little bit
there's
towards that
the
green cardamom, I think.
Grains of paradise.
I really like
Crisp
that.
spice.
Okay, so that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Instead of black pepper.
That honestly, for me and my palate,
Seriously.
is one of the better things that like if this were distiller stock, this would be one of the better things that we've had in the past year.
Yeah, this is very refined.
Yeah.
There's definitely been a lot of care. Look at the viscosity on there. It's crazy.
It
But
reminds me of some of the Liberty Bowl stuff.
I could see that. It's kind of like they're peated,
Yeah.
but there's no smoke in it, but just this the structure that their peated has.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of body on this. It packs a punch.
It does.
The astringency there is like it holds up to everything. 'Cause
But it does have that tannic,
Yeah.
where it's actually kind of drying.
Yeah. A lot of those are either to me they're too much
Yes.
or
Dry.
everything else is there blows it away.
Right.
Like there's no good in between with it.
It's like a dry wine for me.
Yeah.
The
Sucks it out.
the green apple is also transferring over to the palate.
Mm-hmm.
What was did we know the mash bill on this one?
I can pull it up for you. Hold on one
I'm
second.
wondering if this is one of the ones he did with crystal malt.
I think it might have
I don't
been.
know if
So it's a
that's
distiller's
It
blend.
says 125.
I bet it's that crystal malt.
Well, but that might be the barrel.
I think it's the barrel
I'm
number
gonna say that's
because the proof the spirit itself comes in at 100, and I remember he actually had me proof it down to 100 because he gave me a sample that was higher.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be high in proof too. This is definitely a little bit over 100, I think.
if it's high proof for me, it's really smooth, doesn't burn. If it's low
It's not
proof,
let me
it
go
burns.
to the thingy.
And this is
I
not
could see
drinking
that.
like it's super hot.
Well, it's so what Tiff is saying is on the opposite end of the spectrum, like the lower proof stuff, she gets more burn. So something that you guys may not know, Justin and Tiff, if you're really looking for faults in spirits and you want to find faults in spirits, proof down to 40 proof.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You go down real low on proof.
That's why they do that in all the judging panels.
Yep. Everything that's wrong will pop to the surface.
It shines.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't just do that not to get drunk.
We'll have to try that sometime.
When I was in California for Copper and Kings, I did O'Neill Vintners and Distillers. So we did 4 panels. One day was red wine, one day was white wine, and then 2 days of brandy. And red wine, white wine were literally, because it's just for jug wine, right?
Yeah.
It's not anything fancy. So it was 127 samples of red wine in one day. And it's literally yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, nothing else. You just taste it, move on, taste it, move on. And then with spirits, it was like that, but it was like 15 samples in a day at 40 proof.
So I think that if anybody likes Weller Antique, they're going to like this one because you know
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the dry
Yeah.
pear note that you get in Weller
Yeah.
Antique. This is nothing a dry green apple.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And it had that cinnamon thing too.
Yeah.
Just like,
So we should also commentate on the fact that we're not doing this from the tiny bedroom studio, so it looks like we're in like a weird sex dungeon. It's because we are.
Yeah.
There's actually a swing over here. Yeah, we're in an old cellar. So
Frost down
we're in a
there,
bunker. Presume that if you're watching this, the Russians have nuked us,
yes.
I told you, Russian's gonna come up a lot.
right?
I love the nose on that.
It's a Cold War episode.
Christi knows because she's a spy. She probably fucking speaks Russian.
Don't you remember I did in our
I
Siberian
know.
episode?
I know. You and fucking Andre.
So we're gonna give this
The
a start
smell on
also.
that. Yes, I think so. I think
Oh
so.
god.
And we're doing on
But
a store
be
1 to 5
honest.
again?
Yeah, and you have to be honest, and Bill knows this. Bill will appreciate it because, and it's the same whenever people review our stuff. Sometimes people don't like what I do,
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's fine.
I'm super sorry, but I'm giving this one a 2.
A Toozers, Toozies.
To be fair, so she
Bill,
doesn't
you
do,
suck.
She doesn't do dry wines at all.
No.
And this,
But it has that.
It has
This is
that dry
drinking like
astringent
this is
thing.
drinking
It's
almost
very
like a
sad.
rye to me, and I hate ryes.
yeah. And it had that spice there too, so
Yeah.
that's why. It's okay to not like something as long as you can say why you don't like it.
I apologize,
No
but
problem.
I don't like this one.
I'll give that one a 4. I like that one. I think I would probably like that one a little bit more if it was finished in something also, if it had some
Right.
more fruit to it, to go along with that astringency.
I can see that.
Fair enough.
Maybe like a red wine or a port or something with some stone fruit.
Yeah, I think like some maybe even that dry fruit character would be nice, like a fruit cake type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to give this kind of between like a 4.3, 4.4. I would agree
That's
with you. It would be nice to have a little bit something in the middle
Yeah.
because it kind of like it shoots straight, like straight across the palate, and you kind of end up in the finish pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if there was something that was a little bit more delaying, but I really appreciate the dry note. But then again, I like that.
Yeah.
It was
That's a very
watery.
textural thing.
Watery and nuts.
So it's funny that you went 4.2 or 4.3 because I was thinking 4.2 because
Yeah.
this would be everything I'd be looking for in something I wanted to actually drink. And I agree with you. I think if it were a little longer, and then what's crazy to me is if you go back to the glass when it's empty. So that
There's so much-
it smells good.
diacetyl movie butter popcorn, but it's
Yeah.
almost
Yes.
like slightly roasted. Like if the flavor reflected that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 5.
Yeah.
I could, and you know how I am with that buttery popcorn thing. I love that. If
Right.
that would transfer over to the palate,
Yeah, you eat this shit every night.
I do.
And I will say, when they proofed it down a little bit, it actually was an improvement.
Mhm.
I think it was a really good idea when he told me to do that because I noticed a considerable difference on the texture, especially.
Right.
So, I mean, never be afraid to proof if you think it's
No,
for
absolutely.
benefit.
Absolutely. I think he took full advantage of everything that still was given him on that for
Mhm.
sure.
Absolutely.
No, it's
Sure.
delicious though. It's very unique, and again, you know, if you're one of those Weller Antique fans, I think this would definitely be a much more affordable option for you that you would really appreciate. And the finish is almost like, I don't know, it's almost bordering on like some really strong lagers,
Yeah, I can see that.
almost hoppy.
For those that are watching and listening, if you hear thumping noises, it's because we're in the basement and my daughter is
Having a
presumably
dance
wrangling a
recital.
fucking elephant upstairs. I don't know.
She is
So-
everywhere and nowhere at once.
Yes.
There's
Disappear.
nothing fun here.
Reappear. So, what we got next?
Well, we're going to get into this spring gin. So this actually is going to be coming on the market very shortly. It's not available yet. There's now a summer gin that has been produced, and I believe she's working on a fall gin. But this is from our good friend Kelly Tennille.
Oh.
She is with Whiskey Thief Distilling over in the Grafenberg area, close to Frankfort, Kentucky. And this is her spring gin. Her summer gin, I will tell you, I just had that recently, and they colored it with butterfly pea flower. It's purple. It is extremely viscous and oily and delicious. Really enjoyed that one. I was able to pinpoint almost every single botanical in there.
Nice.
So I've actually been sworn to secrecy on some of them. But I will say it's very oily, and she did add some a little tiny bit of almond, and it made all the difference. So I'm going to pass this around. This is her spring gin. This is a little different.
I'm excited because I've not got to try her stuff yet.
It's great.
Here, pour these. And gin. I like gin.
Nope.
You might need to clean your glass a little bit with it.
I didn't think of that.
You just splash it into his and
Yeah,
then like splash it out or swish it back.
There you go. Here, we'll pass the swishing one around. There you go. The swish.
Yep.
Swish.
Oh my gosh. Babe, you
Jack
like
fingers.
this. It is not Christmas tree.
And this is all.
Justin hates Christmas tree.
This
and
one's
this
all
is not.
vapor distilled, right?
It's okay if I toss it in the plate.
Yeah. Correct, Christy.
Don't throw your
She
cigarette.
didn't-
Yeah, it's vapor still.
Yeah, she didn't macerate anything on this. It's all
No.
all gin basket.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it all went in there. Oh my god, just what we cleaned our glasses with.
The nose
And I'm going
on
to see
this
if you
is-
guys can pinpoint some of the stuff that's in here. I think she did a really good job representing each of the botanicals here.
So one thing you'll learn about me, Christi, is I don't pinpoint like things. I pinpoint it with memories.
That's great. A lot of people do that.
What it reminds me of.
There are
time in my
people that
life.
well, so here is a natural phenomenon that happens. Some people do see color when they smell. I sometimes do, but not with everything. It's really more rare for me. But I do know people who often do when they're smelling. So there's all, memories are another thing that, if it connects you to the spirit. And sometimes you'll say like, oh, it's, grandma's farm or doing harvest. And those little things pop up. And sometimes you can pinpoint what that was and you didn't realize that's what it was.
I'm gonna just say right now on the nose, and I know since she vapor distilled this, she's not using a heavy botanical load compared to what you would with the
They're using
maceration.
GNS.
But on the nose, pink cotton candy is what's happening for me.
Okay, so after we put a building out, that's when on fire.
So
not
I
too
get-
much smoke, but just the lingering.
I'm trying to remember the name of the cereal.
Is what I get off of this.
Do you remember
Yep.
like it was that apple snacks type cereal?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Yep, it very much so has
Little bit
that
sweet.
The
flavor.
cinnamon
Yeah.
and everything. The cinnamon, and she didn't use a lot of cinnamon in this either, but it really came to the forefront. And it could have been where she placed it too.
It definitely
So
on
I'm
the
gonna put it a little
finish.
higher up.
On the finish, the cinnamon rolls to the front of the tongue.
Yeah.
And I just get it on the
Look at the
on the
legs.
palate right now. I mean, I'm sorry, the nose to start.
Like, it's got really good legs on this too.
And the color is really nice on it too. There's a little bit of twinge to it.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna be the off one on the palate because I still get a little bit of floral stuff on the palate. It's like chamomile or dandelion type thing going on with some
I do
vanilla,
get chamomile.
like
off of it.
vanilla backbone to it too.
And I'm trying to remember everything she put in this one, but I think she may have added something floral.
it is floral, but on the nose for me, I can pick out the structure of some of the more earthy elements. Like definitely, it seems like there's a licorice root as a binding.
There is some
element.
Yes.
licorice root in there.
Yes.
There is, so there is a
For the
floral note. I'm
sweetness.
trying to remember. It's there is a little bit
Is
of
it
rose of
Angelica?
no, it's rose. There is Angelica as well, but there's also Rose of Sharon.
Okay.
That makes sense. Because I've only done that one time at Stallings. No, I did it here one time too.
Something I really like about this, so a lot of gins to me, the botanical thing covers up the ethanol that's there. You actually still get a little bit of that ethanol tinge on the nose
You do.
also, which is nice for a gin because you don't normally get that.
I don't on the nose. I do on my
I'm
taste buds.
trying to figure out what's given that cotton candy thing that I really like on the nose. Like it's two things that are coming together, and I don't
Is
know
it the
what they
orris
are.
root?
It's definitely a root, but I'm not sure if it's orris or angelica. But it's meeting maybe the Rose of Sharon as well. I think because that floral element's there. but it comes off to me as like fresh pink cotton candy from the fair.
Like
in
straight,
the
up,
best
straight
way.
off the
Right.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know she's not using orris root, but she's adding it's angelica and so one of the roots. There is licorice in there, but it's a different root. It's
Calamus.
nope. Keep going.
Orris.
Nope. It mimics orris. It's another one of the
I
fixers.
love this.
Me too. Like,
You know, it's like one of the roots that helps like fix everything and like bring it all together.
You see
Right.
This is coming out from spores.
It's beautiful.
I want a bottle of this.
Especially for being as light of a botanical load as what that
Mhm.
was for vapor distillation. She did a fine job with that.
It's
And
very
she had to
highlight.
sort of engineer that still to make it work too, because
Yes.
she didn't have a gin basket, so she was packing this into the actual column, if I remember right.
Right, and they've made some fixes since then. There's been some changes to the still.
So, this is gonna sound terrible. You know what's the green bottle of cologne? Brut. You know that?
Yeah.
There's that sweet note that's there with that. If you get past the musky thing, there's sweetness there, and that has it too. And
This one's one that it's
Love this.
sweet and it's round. You can drink it like a whiskey, but it's light, so it doesn't become cloying. Like I wouldn't even want to mix this with anything.
Mm-mm.
There's
I
a
would just-
crispness.
No, this
to
is
it.
very much a sipping gin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, as a critique, so this is part of a seasonal series.
I did not sip. Sorry. That was really good.
My only critique would be, even though I think it's delicious, it's lovely, it is a fantastic representation of all botanicals, I probably, there's something there that makes it a little heavy for a spring gin, where
Yeah.
I would like to go a little bit more towards a London
Yeah.
Dry style.
Because it leans a little bit more into like the stone beer thing that we did.
Yeah.
The
So like
root
the
thing.
cinnamon, I would leave that out. I would leave out some of the more like some of the spices, and focus more on that floral character.
I would probably leave the cinnamon but pull it back some, but I'll tell you, and this would be more of a summer thing, but I'd be real interested in having some watermelon in this in particular
Okay.
yeah.
to push that sweetness to the forefront.
And so I'm somebody that whenever I try something, I always like. I love stuff neat, but I always want to try to figure out what I can do with it.
I wouldn't even
cocktail-wise.
mix it in a cocktail. It's
There's
good on
nothing
its own.
with this. Like
No,
I
it's
just
perfect.
like
It is still
that.
my
Yeah.
words, 'cause that's
this
what I
is
was gonna say.
this is pretty much a cocktail in a glass.
It
You
is.
don't need
Yeah.
to add anything to it. You can sip this neat. And I think it's also good for someone who says they don't like gin.
Mhm.
There's no Christmas tree thing
No.
going on here.
That's me. Yeah.
So
Even
they
with
would-
some ice for the summer or
The-
spring.
I would like to see what it would do with some soda water.
Mhm.
Just to see
And
how
I-
much it
so-
would open up.
I've done that with some tonic, some light tonic,
Yeah.
and I mean, it was delicious. But I still think I preferred it neat.
Yeah.
And Kelly's a great distiller. She did a fantastic job with this.
She
And
did.
I'm glad that she is at Whiskey Thief. I think that's a great place for.
And this is her first commercial gin.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it to hit. I'm buying a bottle. As soon as it hits,
Yeah.
I'm buying. I want it in
Yeah,
the collection.
there's a great mouthfeel on this.
Yes. It just hit everything all around for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if I don't want to make it into a cocktail, you know it's spot on.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Ratings.
I'm giving her a 4.7 on this one. I loved it.
Good
I
job.
absolutely loved it.
Yeah. I'm right up there. I don't do fives.
Right.
I'm
I mean,
using
there's
the
no
point
such thing as a
system.
five.
Yeah.
0 is chasing a 5.
Right.
Like 4.7, 4.8. That's amazing.
I'm gonna put it at a 4.3 just because of the seasonal character that I was discussing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it is an excellent gin. It is a great sipping gin, and I highly recommend purchasing this.
Absolutely.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, I think a 4.5 for sure, and that's a great first showing for her gin program.
Yeah,
Absolutely, and especially like I said, being vapor distilled as opposed to macerated.
and the color's been very stable too. I will say.
Yeah, it was a nice color. I like the little color that it had to it. It's beautiful. Kelly, you did a great job. Great job. I can't wait to try the next one.
Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to try the summer gin. It is delicious. It is almost magical. It is so velvety, oily, slick, and the color representation. It really, I think it's a great compliment to botanicals. It really puts you in a mood.
Right.
How far is Whiskey Thieves from here? That's
It's
only
about,
hours.
like, I would say about, maybe an hour.
Is it only an hour?
Maybe about an hour. Hour 15
So I
tops.
say a trip to Whiskey Thieves?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because
it's-
it's right by Frankfurt, but it's not all the way to
Okay.
Frankfurt.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's only like half an hour to Louisville
I think
from
it was
here.
further out there than that.
No.
Yeah, I definitely. It's a trip. We need to make a trip.
All right.
Alan Bishop.
Yeah, I'm
trip.
all about it. All right, well, we're gonna pause, and I'm gonna go find some more weird shit, so we can taste a couple more weird things. So this is his Cappadocia Genever.
Don't tell me what's in it.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
making that for?
I'm excited to try this.
Okay.
Yes.
I have no clue what
this
that
one-
means.
That's another fixer. So that's a botanical
This
used a
one
lot in gin.
is
Okay.
fucking. This
That's what
is
I was trying
beautiful.
to think of too, by the way.
Oh, do we want to rinse since we just had absinthe?
I
Yeah.
rinsed mine already.
You wanna?
I think, yeah, let's
I
start
rinsed
pouring it
with
down.
water.
Yeah. Whoever gets it last has to.
That's
down
you,
it.
babe. Down it.
Down it or pour it on the floor?
No, I've already rinsed with water, homie.
God damn it!
Chug, chug, chug.
Nice try, sucker. I'm feeling it.
What the fuck?
Let me smell your thighs.
That was like a newbie initiation.
I don't know if I'm gonna like it. It smells
No.
like pepper.
Instead
I like it.
Instead of shots of Malort, but in a positive way.
Remember I said it's Malort, but good.
No, no Malort.
Oh,
Oh,
what is
don't
that?
you dare Malort
Oh,
me.
this is so fucking good.
This is interesting. So there's like 3 different things popping at me right now.
Pepper. Right off the
That's
nose.
fucking
Pepper.
weird.
This is right up my fucking alley. I love this shit.
It
This
reminds me of
is
certain food.
this
Pepper
kind of thing.
and malt.
Yes.
This is
What is
why.
it?
This kind of thing is why I make the joke about moving to the Swiss Alps.
Yeah.
Because I want access to those fucking botanicals at all times. I want them in my fucking yard.
Hey, fat kid tasting note. Sawmill gravy. Peppered fucking sausage gravy.
There's something else.
I don't know if
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
get it.
like
I'm gonna
this
get it. I'm
I,
gonna get
yeah,
it.
the sausage thing is there.
Yes,
Yes.
that's why I don't. That's exactly why I don't like it on the nose.
But you
I
know what
hate
the type of
sausage.
sausage? You know what the sausage is that you're thinking of here? It's Pennsylvania. It's
Dutch sausage.
But what's that stuff called again?
Scrapple?
Scrapple. It's scrapple.
But I love scrapple.
It is scrapple though.
Yeah.
Smell it. It's scrapple.
So for those watching, this
It's got
is
that meatiness.
this
It
is
does
a,
have
a
meatiness,
Genetian
yes.
bitters. This is a true bitters liqueur. This is an absolute digestif, more so even than what the absinthe was. If you're familiar with the liqueur Strega, it's very similar to Strega, although Strega's a little sweeter,
Yeah.
a little rounder. So this is Strega sort of like stepped up on steroids.
So.
Okay, so it's good on the taste buds, but I do not like the nose.
Remember that bottle you got me, the yellow stuff?
Yes.
Evidently the Strega?
Yeah.
That's
It's scrapple
this
and
without the
pickles.
It's
sweetness.
fucking good.
Scrapple and pickles.
There's still sweet
Yeah.
to this. This is like pepper,
with that nice like
savory,
bitter note.
but then there's a
bitter
sweet
drying note.
ending on this one.
I'm gonna throw you guys a weird tasting note on this that
Almost
you're
like
probably
Chinar.
you're not gonna like, but that bittering is
Mm.
butyric acid,
I can't get scrapple out of my
and
head now.
butyric acid is what you throw up when
Yeah.
you throw up. So it
No,
sounds
no,
fucking
Alan,
gross.
no,
Yeah,
stop,
I
please
get
stop.
that,
No.
It's not a pleasant thing to think about, but
But it
There's
is
a-
valid.
and it's also that's why it makes such a great digestive.
You know how
Okay.
sensitive I am. Do not.
Ramen noodles?
No.
Remember the old Oriental flavor
Justin.
You're
ramen?
going
Before
fucking
they're
deep on
Before
that.
they get cooked, this is ramen. Look, actually, you know what it is? It's not ramen noodles. It's those other noodles that they have, the Chinese noodles that they would just like crunch up over and eat them as a snack.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
So-
even cooked greens. There's kind of that same.
I get bell pepper off of this.
Yep.
Little, and
What
then-
reminds me of chinar? Like artichoke.
On the nose is bell pepper. Regular cooked black pepper and bell pepper. Like a green bell pepper.
I thought.
Have you had like an artichoke or a cardoon before?
Yes.
Mhm.
Think of that.
What I want is I want a big glass of this, and I want to be like in the Swiss Alps in the middle of a fucking snowstorm, and I want to fill the glass the rest of the way up to the snow. Fucking snowstorm.
Yeah.
It's like it's sweet on the lips, but I wouldn't say on the
Give me
palate
water.
it's that
Makes me
sweet.
want to do
Up
Viking
front
shit,
it's
Justin.
savory, and on the back I get
Like, I want,
sweetness.
I want
It's a lot of
That's
I'm not
right.
gonna call it umami. It's got
Rape
that
and
bitter,
pillage.
Yeah.
just like chartreuse or chinar, but
Oh
it's got that like sweet, fatty stickiness up front, and I like that too.
Yes.
And that butyric character is straight up Genetian root. That's what
Yeah.
Genetian root does. I mean, it is a primary example of Genetian root.
That is not one I have ever researched, so now I'm going to research that.
It's in a lot of gins.
Is it really?
Mhm.
I did not know that.
And I need to ask Steven, I don't think it's on there, but I'm curious if he used any grand wormwood at all. Okay, so he's got, let's see, that's the other weird thing. So he put laurel in here. So Genetian bitters plus lemon, orange, laurel, and lavender.
You know how bitter? Okay, so I get bitterness with this. You know how bitter
Look at that color.
valerian
I know
is?
Yeah.
I get the bitterness
It's
of
definitely
like a
sweet.
valerian.
Look at the residual sugar.
Right?
Yeah, listen.
I'm sorry.
You're
ahead.
fine. Go ahead.
No,
I'll
I'm
finish
good.
me. The bitterness of valerian root. That's
Yeah.
what I get
Yeah.
off of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
very much so. Very much so.
I could see this being good for your tummy.
Yes.
The nose is just wild on that though.
It
Like,
is. It takes you on a nice little ride, like a roller coaster ride.
Oh, this is very much
had
like
this with fried pickles, and it will like cut through that fat and be delicious.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
it's very much
Yeah.
like setting in a physics garden.
Alan, do you
Right.
remember our
Oh.
fried pickle journey?
Oh, I do.
Hey.
I do. I hit the place that I'm pretty sure that we both thought we were going to get COVID at.
Wings and blue
Everybody
cheese.
thought we were narcs.
With this.
Narcs. That's that damn Russian. I'm telling you.
Oh, it was the whole thing. We had a truck full of stills at the time.
When Alan Bishop says it's a whole thing, you know it's a whole damn thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
I'd like
if
to
you
put this
had
in
a
front of
couple
Dad
drops-
because this would fuck him all the way up.
You
He
drop-
would.
He would be so fucking mad at you.
But you know what? You could pair that with a little Debbie brownie
Yeah, because
because the dark. You
Yeah.
have to
It's
make it
got
taste
that
like dark
color
chocolate.
of yellow
yeah.
chartreuse.
I get the ending note of a Malort.
Yes.
Because
it is
sticks
there.
with you.
Yep.
It is.
You're saying yes like a good. I don't like
It's
Malort.
got
Malort
notes
is
of Malort,
bad.
but I wouldn't say like you're gonna immediately think of Malort with this.
No,
So-
you're not. You're not going to think of it right off the. It's just what that's what
It has some
reminded me
similar
of. It
chemicals.
hangs on your tongue.
Yeah.
There's also, and you guys know this. There's everybody
Ooh,
has different
finish.
experiences, but like so, for me, and that's one of the positive things about Malort. I don't like Malort of its own accord,
I
but
just said positive in my Lord. The same doesn't
the
say.
That
same
don't
thing's
mix.
happening here, and so I'll point it out. So we have annual Artemisia that grows in Indiana, which is ragweed for people who don't know.
Yes.
So this brings back memories of me either cutting tobacco or bush hogging or like any of those agricultural experiences growing up.
Okay.
Okay. So you're referring it to allergies.
To some degree, yes.
Nasty tasting though. I get what you're saying because like when you're out doing stuff like that,
I don't get nasty
that,
tasting though.
that phlegm that hangs right,
Right.
here, that's
We've,
sour.
we've now mentioned phlegm and vomit in the same.
But it's fucking good.
Right? It is good.
I will
It
say
is
it
good.
burps Malort.
It does. Yes, it does. Thank you, because I just
Just
dealt
add
with
to your third.
It burps my
You know,
Lord.
you said the pickle thing though. What if
Yeah.
you put some of this in your pickle breading?
Oh,
and
God, yeah.
fried 'em?
But this is what
Oh,
I
that
want
would
to
be
eat it
really
with fried
good.
pickles though. Like I think this would be so good with fried pickles, and
Yeah.
I think it would actually really cut through the fat
Kim.
and like
Fried
fry
pickles.
the oil and
Yeah.
everything. Oh my God, I think it would be
Absolutely.
fantastic. But I also want to like fry some other stuff, like like fried squash blossoms. I think the creaminess
Yeah.
Oh yes.
would be so good.
Or
Yes.
morels.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Eggplant parmesan.
Parmesan
I can't do
that would go
parmesan.
well.
I think I think the tomato would be the right amount of sweetness to kind
Yeah.
of like tie it together. It'd be
Actually.
almost minty then.
This would be a charcuterie board tasting thing.
Yeah, that would be amazing with some really like pungent cheeses and runny cheeses.
Yep.
Yes.
Blue
We
cheese.
just had a
Blue
blue
cheese.
cheese guy come in the other
Yeah.
day. Maytag.
The
And
one
Maytag
time we
Maytag
don't have
is-
cheese
I
on
don't think I'd
Sunday.
pair blue
Right.
cheese with that, but I would pair like a Kvass and
Oh,
Appenzeller.
Alan's trying
We
to
just
die.
had a Maytag guy come in, and it's not Maytag. It's the same family.
Yeah, the blue
grandson.
cheese. Okay.
Yes, it was very creamy, but it had the bite to it,
Yeah,
and I honestly think it would do good with that one.
also like a
Or
mustard
smoky
green,
Gouda.
like brie would be really good.
Yes.
Yes.
Or even like, I was saying,
Until we've all had digestives for all of our.
so
Oh, I feel good.
Thank God I'm off camera.
go southern a little bit. Fried chicken and greens.
Yes.
Southern comfort food.
Yeah. Or ramps. This would be so good with like when you like barbecue ramps.
Yeah.
Over the grill. Oh my God.
Yes.
Or those Japanese mustard greens.
Yeah, or especially the
I
Japanese
don't know
pickling,
those,
like
so
a
I
kimchi.
I thought those broke you.
Jesus.
So you know when you kimchi the
Mustard
the spring
greens.
onions,
Mhm.
not the cabbage,
Like,
that would be
I've
really
not
good.
had those.
Yes.
Some eggs.
Japanese mustard.
All right, now that we've blown out everyone's
Shoot.
palate,
Wait, I
you
need
guys want to
water.
do one more?
Yes, I need
Yes.
water though.
Okay. The water hose is go. God damn it.
We're all drinking from a water hose today.
The water
Alan
hose
is being
going.
attacked
we'll see that. I'll go get some water.
by a pole.
There you
wanna-
go. Hold that.
Nobody's going to be able to taste anything right now, but
We might.
that
I tasted
bitter
it
and that
earlier.
Venetian just, man,
I
it
like
just
that.
holds on.
And we didn't rate that one. but I want to rate it. Like, I'm going to give that a
Yes.
4.7. That is delicious.
Please explain to me bubbles. How do you know the proof with the bubbles?
All right, give me just a second. We'll do the rating first, and I'll explain bubbles.
Okay.
I will go. It's the only time this is
shit.
ever going to happen, and I could hold it for something else. I'm giving that a 5.0 because as far as being a masterful distillation and somebody knowing what the fuck they're doing,
Yeah.
that out of everything that you and I have ever had on Distiller's
Yeah.
Talk, by far that bottle right there impressed me more than anything else that anyone has ever sent in.
And I will say, for everything that we've ever had from
Yeah,
Stephen,
wet
it's
everywhere.
showing us there is a level of sophistication there. I mean, obviously he is a recognized distiller, but he seems to understand the interactions that all the different botanicals and the processes he's doing. There's a science behind it, and he gets it. He's not just throwing shit together and like, I wonder what this is going to do. Because some
Yes.
people do that.
And I also think his spirituality plays into that quite a
Very
bit
much.
as well.
Well, and like you were talking about the journey that it was taking you on as an herbalist.
Yes.
That's the same journey it takes him on because he wants to take you back in time
Yep.
to what he envisions people who were imbibing those different botanicals, the experience they were having.
Right.
So
He's done the
we're
research
rating
on
the
it.
last
We are
one we've
rating,
done?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I gave it a
Okay.
4.7. He
So-
gave it a 5.0.
I've never had anything like that besides Malort. And I'm not even going to talk about that. So I'm going to base mine off of what I've learned from Alan as far as distilling and knowing what had to have gone into that. And then also listening to the podcast and how passionate he is about that. Once again, I don't give fives. 4.9.
Well played.
Okay. So, I missed this podcast,
Sure.
and the only reason I'm giving it a 4.4 is because it reminds me of sitting at like the blackout restaurants,
Uh-huh.
and it took my taste buds on a roller coaster ride, and I had so many different feelings with this one, and I love the complexity. To me, it was complex with the different things that were brought out
Yeah. I
on
like
it. You had like upfront dinner, all a meal in one,
Yeah.
Right. Right.
and ended with a little bit of sweetness for me. So I loved it.
I will apologize for the face I made whenever I took a shot at it because it just surprised the fuck out of
That's
me.
why I
Yeah.
did that because whoever it landed on, I was like, "Oh, here comes."
Well, you
the
thought you were
shot.
getting a liqueur, and you didn't understand you were getting a digestif.
Yes.
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 So Tiff asked about proofing by the bead. So that is a thing that old timers used to do. It's not that fucking accurate, and TV does lie to you. So there's two methods to it, and you can really only determine the proof between 110 down to 100. So the first method is you shake it up, smack it, and then you count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000, 11, 1,000. So you're about 110 proof there by the time the bubbles dissipate. The larger and faster the bubbles flash off, the higher proof it is. The smaller they are and the longer they linger, the lower proof it is. The other method is if you're at about 110 proof and you do that to the jar, that those bubbles, they'll make a bridge and they'll split evenly.
Yeah.
So there we're actually a little bit over.
So we're about 111, 112.
Right.
So you just take 10 off of what your count is? Because you said
You just-
110 and you count to 11.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
that'd be 110 basically by the
Okay.
time we got there. So a little bit over 110. So what this is the only Pechuga that I've ever made. Not really a true Pechuga, more of a tribute. So this is
I'm so freaking excited.
wild heirloom agave syrup, applewood and mesquite wood smoked rye malt as the base. And then that's double pot distilled. I made my cuts. I took that, put it back in the still, and then on Passover Sunday, I distilled it that morning with botanicals that I didn't write down, and I didn't. I did it all from the heart. So I literally was just grabbing shit down here, including some sun-dried tomatoes from the garden, and then a piece of raw rabbit meat. So the idea is that this is a spiritual distillation. This is what Mescaleros will do this at least once in their lifetime, usually to be served at the funeral. And otherwise, true Pechuga gets served at like ceremonies or during the Day of the Dead, etc. It's similar to fat washing a cocktail. So the idea is that it sort of inverts some of the flavors, it enhances some of the flavors. It's definitely got that protein sort of characteristic to it. I don't know if I'll ever do another Pechuga or not, and I'm going to keep a jar of this back for the day that I die, legitimately. That's one of the things I want my friends to actually taste. So it was definitely a sacramental sort of distillation, all the way down to hanging across off the condenser and all that stuff. The other cool thing is, so dogs are very sensitive to alcohol, and they won't usually put their nose anywhere near alcohol.
Not ours.
The day that I distilled this, Anana, our little dog, was in the basement looking for that piece of rabbit meat. She had her nose in the fucking distillation outlet, and her tail was wagging because she could smell that rabbit coming through in that distillation. So
Now, the only reason I want to try this is because we drank this Easter weekend on the YouTube video that you did then. And then I tried it a little bit ago, and it changed.
right,
You can put a lot in.
and I haven't touched it since we last drank it.
It has changed, and it's amazing.
Oh, it's definitely become more married. All the ingredients are definitely much more cohesive than what they were.
So when
So don't die soon, Alan, but I can't wait to try it at your
Right.
funeral again. Love you.
whenever it was distilled, I will say the tomato was at the forefront.
Yes.
Oh, well, did you eat the tomatoes he gave me? He gave me a can of tomatoes to put in with my
we
herbs.
tried that. Yeah.
They are so sweet and so good. I can sit there
Yeah,
and eat
those
them all day
are
long.
Mir
You
de
ever make,
Noms
like-
tomatoes.
Do you ever do like tomato olives, they call them? Yeah, the little
No.
like green tomatoes, like they're still like cherry tomatoes, and pickle those. They are really good. But you can
I have
also
not
do like
tried that.
martini olives that way.
That's
But they're
really good.
We're big.
green tomato, cherry tomatoes.
So
Okay,
these were
next project.
these
I'm
were
gonna
Mir de
try it.
Noms tomato, which is a tomato that Kim and I bred probably 14, 15 years ago. So they're a little red saladette tomato, about 2 or 3 ounces, and they come on by the 4th of July.
So on the nose, I still get fattiness from the rabbit.
Oh yeah.
That is a
I
good-
get the herbal. I don't remember. Did you use licorice root with this?
Yes.
Okay. So that's where I'm getting
Wow,
that.
that changed big time. That went like dark, like
Mm-hmm.
almost cacao nib,
Yeah.
fucking
But
Yeah.
so before, what I was saying is like
barbecue. Like
This gives you a full mouthfeel.
that meat.
you had
To me,
each
it does.
flavor had a peak. Now it's each flavor is rounded and
Yep.
but it's
Yes.
still all there.
Yeah, it's become its own thing.
This is another roller coaster ride.
Man.
This
I'm
is like a
telling
big
you.
splash.
Mhm.
So like the first sip, it was like somebody dropped something in my glass and it splashed back up at me. But it's very bright. It's I see that tomato thing you're talking about. And it's fresh. It's so
Strawberry
fresh.
in there too.
But to me,
Dried
this is a
strawberry.
year round. I could do this
Oh.
in the winter, the fall, the spring, and the summer.
Was there mint in that?
Yes.
I don't get the mintiness.
You
I
get
get
strawberry.
like almost an
Let me
anise.
see that.
Why are you stealing my cigarette?
Yeah, the anise was that. There's anise,
Big
licorice root, mint, sun-dried
Little hard.
tomato, dried
All this
strawberries,
thing you get back here.
a little bit of coriander,
That's where I get the mint.
Okay.
rabbit, marigold,
I get like a crisp, fresh.
maybe a little honeysuckle.
That might be. Do you have
Like a
vanilla in
spearmint,
that
not a
too?
mint.
Yes.
A spearmint. 'Cause
Yes,
mint-
it was spearmint.
Okay.
That's what it
See,
was.
see, damn it.
You got it.
I'm getting good,
If
y'all.
I
Watch out
needed-
now.
If I needed to take a spirit like on a hike with me, and I'm gonna be alone, and I'm just gonna go somewhere and just spend some time with something, that's like something I would want to take with me.
Right. More of a contemplative sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Because with that, so you always talk about like the contemplative, sitting there, imbibing and enjoying, but also reflecting. You can do that with this because
Right.
you're gonna have to sit there and think about it.
But see, the first time we tried this, I got more of the agave off of it, and I'm not getting a lot of agave now.
It's
the
pulled
other
back
botanicals
substantially.
are coming out in this.
The agave and the smoke both pulled back.
You know,
Yes.
I am with agave, like that.
The front's really fresh to me.
Yes.
I will say I'm glad the agave is kind of kicked back. I wish a little bit more of the smoke was there
Right.
because I think that would kind of contrast with a few of the things.
And if you go back to the glass now and smell it, you'll get the smoke on the nose.
Mixed in with the fattiness. Oh, you got a big bowl too.
I don't
So the
think.
fattiness
I
comes
thought
out
you
more
smelled
as it's
my
like
big bowl.
opening up.
Look at all that oil.
Yeah. Yeah, as it opens up, I get a lot more of the fattiness.
And even though it's thinner, it still gives you a full
That
mouthfeel.
brings the smoke out.
There's a lot of umami on this one.
What do you say?
A lot of umami.
Yes, very much so. Like,
Couple grams.
It's just one of those indescribable type
Yeah.
sensations that you get.
I have a hard time with umami. Someone says that, and like to me, umami is
Umami's more than meaty. Umami is round, it's chewy, it's
Yes.
so many different things. So like think about like, you know, like cooked mushrooms,
Mhm.
like the texture that you get in the mouthfeel there. You're getting that like chew
There's
from
an
that, but like bouncy chew.
Yep. There's a bounce, there's a fattiness, but there's earthiness as well. There's a salinity to it.
I do believe, I think I said, wasn't it this one I said out fishing? After
Yep.
they just cut the, yes.
So umami for me is like when you get around red
The water.
meat, and as carnivores, and like almost in our teeth, we feel like that, like we want to grind down
Mhm, yep.
type feeling.
Yes.
That to me is a lot of umami too. It's almost like a vampire-ish type thing. It's like
That brings out a lot more of the mint too.
Not the ones that suck your energy.
Yeah.
yeah, that brings the mint and the smoke out when you add a little water to it. I actually think I might need to drop this to like 90 proof at some point.
What do you think? What's that?
Just to
set
spread it
at?
out.
Is it about
Why?
110?
To bring the fattiness out more, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I love it how it is.
It's
But I
delicious
haven't,
as
I haven't
is,
tried it at a lower.
but I think at a lower proof, it would bring it out more.
Yeah, add some water to it if you haven't, because that's
I
what
did.
we did.
I'd
Just
add a
another
little
little,
bit.
add a little. I'll let you do it, or do you want me to do it?
Do it.
It's a whole operation going on over here.
Don't dribble. You do miss the hole.
It really does
Wait,
open up.
wait.
There's
We
so
have
much
video
going on
proof
there.
that you missed the hole.
So this is like, let's see, 3, 6, 7 spirits in 2 hours,
caught
and
that.
now we're all fucking plastered.
I'm feeling good, y'all.
Right?
So there's a seasoning that you can buy that is just
That
tomato
was
seed.
also in there too. What is that seasoning that you guys brought over here that time? Remember, I used some of that.
Oh, that was like a barbecue seasoning.
Yeah, put some of that on the rabbit when I put it in there.
Like some cheap Walmart.
I don't remember.
Was
what
it that one, or did you
Remember
bring
when I
over
made-
the one that I got from Chris Kindlemore?
No, this.
Oh.
Remember when I made pulled pork? We brought it over here. It was
Yeah.
that seasoning.
Is it like
Okay.
mesquite?
It was mesquite, but there was also like a brown sugar note. And
Yes.
stuff
Well,
like
they
that
kind of
to
get
it.
that mesquite type thing.
Yeah,
So-
so I threw that on top of the rabbit when I put it in the steak.
There's a seasoning you can buy. I think it was at Costco. We bought it one time, and it's a lot of dried tomato seed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah,
I would have.
because like that. Hold on,
Why are we holding?
Uh-oh.
I'm broken. Is the problem? So like
As
that,
Penny
that-
would say, you broke them.
We need a buzzer when we do this from now on.
so like that. If,
Red light.
If you can break through that like fattiness thing,
Yeah.
there's that VA thing with this too. And it reminds me of a high-end like tomato juice.
There's a
But-
tomato soup note in that.
Yeah, like there's
in
a
general.
richness, but there's the acid is still there.
And there weren't many tomatoes in there. I might have
Okay.
put like 7 of those
Mhm.
sun-dried
Well, when you're talking about like
slices.
tomatoes, more like gazpacho, like you got
Tomato
like that
soup.
timoteo, like
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
honey type thing going on.
Sour
It's-
cream in it with the creaminess.
Yes, if you do like a tomato soup with sour cream.
Yeah. I do feel like, and again, I'm not trying to make mezcal here, and I'm not trying to make tequila, and I'm not trying to make a Pechuga that you would have in that ancestral setting in Mexico. But I do think, as far as the distillation goes, as a tribute by a white honky motherfucker in the middle of nowhere, Indiana,
Good
it
nod.
turned out pretty
Absolutely.
decent.
It turned out amazing.
Honky.
Hey, we get to rate this one too.
Yes, you're not gonna hurt my feelings, so.
Mm.
I've learned with the rum that you take criticism very good.
I don't like the rum either.
Neither do I. I'm sorry.
Do it.
I'm used.
Like the
I'm
book.
used to Malibu coconut rum, so I really do not like our rum.
Right.
What's your stars?
My star on this one is going to be simply because of all
14.
the herbs. Simply because of all the herbs used in this, I'm giving this one a 4.9.
Thank you.
So I've never had a Pechuga before, so I can only compare
Yeah, me
this
neither.
to other botanical type spirits. But I also know what he put into it, and what it took out of him to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm 4.9. Yes.
Rating's going to be hard for me on this one. I want to get more of the rabbit.
2.5.
No, not that low. No. I want to get more of the rabbit.
Mhm.
I get a little bit of the rabbit, but I want more of the rabbit.
Right?
And I'm going to give it a 4.3 just because I want a lot more of the rabbit. But I really like your botanical structure is fantastic. And there's so much, and it keeps opening up. So I would say somewhere between like a 4.3 point 4.5. Depending on as it's opening up. But I want to see you do another run of this. And I want to see what you do different.
I don't know that I'll do the same thing again. I don't know if I'll do rabbit again.
Snap a turtle.
So here's
Oh God, put snap and turtle in there for
interesting.
sure.
Yes, that'd be interesting.
Snap and
But
turtle or snake.
have you had a Pechuga before?
I have. I've had
Okay,
multiple
so that's the
Pechugas.
difference between ours.
Yeah.
Because she's had Pechuga and we have not had a Pechuga before.
So, for me, I would like to see more of the smoke come through because the problem with it, and I have to speak to it from the distiller's perspective, I'd like to see more of the smoke come through because one of the problems that I have...
Oh, I don't know how, that was a Sparrow bottle.
Sparrow's talking to us.
Is,
Cheers, Mike.
He is.
That's weird for him to come out. He was like tucked in there.
right?
How'd he come out?
Welcome.
Okay.
He is now giving you a sign because you're
I
rating your
think
stuff.
that means that we have to...
We have to open
Oh,
him.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So-
think we better
Go
do
ahead.
that.
I have one thing to say after this. No,
That
I would-
was literally on a shelf and it just like threw itself down.
it did. I would like to see more of the smoke come forward because the problem with agave syrup is that agave syrup doesn't maintain those roasty notes that you get from actual agave.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. It's hard to pull through in a distillation with agave syrup, even adding the rye malts and adding the smoke to it. I would like to see more of the rabbit come through. Now, I will say this. As the distiller, it did disgust me just a little bit, even though I'm an alchemist, to put the rabbit in the still, like it took me a minute to
Really?
get past
I
it.
was
I have been like, burn, motherfucker. I want to eat you.
Well, see, like cooking it would be like one thing, but like putting it in and knowing that part of what's going into this is going to be the actual blood coming
Yeah.
The blood.
I'm okay with that. I've had blood
Yes.
soup though, so I'm
right,
okay with it.
and I have to.
And I
just,
love
Of course you
sausage.
have, Russian.
Yes. So, I feel like for my first attempt at that style of spirit, like I would give it a 3.5. I think there are things I can do better. I think it's a little muddy, but it's not bad.
Y'all, that's Alan
So-
being hard on himself
So,
because it is really good.
protocol-wise, if you took this and I'm going to say this because I read the protocols that you wrote the other day for a certain thing,
Right.
and done it that way and kept the tails off of one run and then reran tails
Right.
to try to hold on to some of that smokiness. Because I know a lot of that smokiness comes over in the tails.
Mhm.
If you've done something like that, do you think you could hold on to more of the smokiness?
I think you probably could. The other part of it is that, like, so I give it a 3.5 for taste, right? Bearing in mind that
But you gotta keep in mind, like, execution is different.
Yeah.
So, like, you're dealing with limited ingredients. And that's where, like, my scoring was reflected in that,
yes,
Limited
and I'm
and
also
smaller
not.
quantities.
For me, so the distillation itself and the purpose that distillation served was not for drinking alcohol. That the purpose was a spiritual purpose, and for that 5.0, 100%, right?
Yeah.
It
Yes.
served its purpose,
Yes.
and so it's not anything that can be replicated, will ever be replicated, etc. But yeah, the fact that Mike just threw that fucking bottle at us is fucking funny shit.
That was, like, not off balance or anything. I was just over
Not
at that
only
box.
did he throw the bottle, it also spun the lid and
Which is
spilled a little bit on the floor.
really weird because Justin and I
completely tight.
do not
Yeah.
know Mike.
I didn't
We-
open it. I
we
didn't
didn't
open
get to know Mike. We never met him, but we know his dad and his stepmom.
Mhm.
Was that ever open?
And they were
Because that wasn't
family to
open,
us.
was it?
No.
That's why, so I didn't taste that yet
It's
because
fun open.
it wasn't open.
So
that I could
It's
tell.
still,
Did it rip?
Yeah.
Well, there's lots,
Yeah,
so
it
it's
did.
already been
It's
spun
fun.
open. How do you, like,
I need.
and that was a brand new. That was an actual sealed lid.
Yes,
it
I know.
literally turned.
there's a
and
bunch of
opened.
things I didn't open, like I opened up the jugs instead because they were, like, they're not like that. You don't have to
So-
twist it open.
Christi, here's a funny story for you. And I've started telling this on floors, by the way. So, before April of last year, Alan and I had never met each other.
Uh-huh.
We talked online a little bit. I gave him shit for Lost River because
And he gave you shit because you were the annoying fucking douchebag that was trying to get shit.
I
You're
was.
the reason that
And he was
Lost
gonna
River
fuck.
only went to
He was
Texas.
gonna fuck up Lost River for you.
But so he
We
and
those
I,
people asking for it then.
so he and I had never met each other.
Yeah.
But Sparrow was born and raised in Martin County, where I'm originally from. He was how old?
Where
was
you
Mike?
were born and raised.
You know, how old was Mike?
45, 46.
Yeah, he's my age.
10 or 11 years older than I am. But after I got to looking into Mike a little bit, and after he passed, I realized I knew somebody with that same last name.
They were our adopted grandparents,
Yeah.
his dad and his
Oh,
stepmom.
it's a small world.
Yes.
So I reached out to this gentleman and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
do you know anybody by this last name?" And it was actually his son. So it's just kind of weird how, like, I grew up
Yeah.
with somebody like that, and then Alan obviously had a big influence from Sparrow as well.
Alan and Justin have a bromance. They both grew up around the
cuddle.
river
We
and the
cuddle.
railroad tracks.
Don't look
And
here.
Do you remember the 80s band Wolfshine?
Oh yeah.
no,
They have a song that I was going to send you the other day. Is Sparrows and Nightingales. And if you haven't heard it yet, the lyrics and everything,
I'll have to check
I
that
think
out.
you would
for sure.
appreciate it.
All right.
Okay, so this is the Bootleg Series Volume 2. So Kevin Rose and I get together a couple times a year and we'll do like a random, he'll send me a playlist. And off that playlist, I come up with some idea of what we want to do based on how that playlist makes me feel. So this was actually mashed in at Bexville, Indiana. It was
yes, that was
me,
fun.
you, Tiff,
Aiden,
Aiden.
Ryan was there later after
Yeah.
we were all drunk. Benji,
DJ.
Say Brian showed up at the end.
Kevin, Troy, Shauna, the boys, Shimmed,
Hillbilly.
Thad.
yeah, Thad Hollows was there. So this was a brute, so stone beer distillation. So we made a stone beer at Bexmill. We were under a burn ban, and so we couldn't start a fire. So we heated up the rocks for the stone beer on a fucking
That
gas
was Dale's
burner.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dad had a pair of tongs. He's over there barbecuing rocks.
And pumpkins.
Yes.
This is why he wants us to try it so bad, because I couldn't be there that day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I knew Mike,
Yes.
and we did stone beer together, but I've never had this. I wasn't
Yeah,
there for
It
it.
was
I
a
don't
day.
remember what all went into it. I know it was distiller's
Yes, it was a
malt,
day.
caramel malts, a bunch of botanicals, both fresh and dry.
So you had
Thank you,
dried
Hillbilly.
wormwood, fresh wormwood. You had
You guys went out and picked off of the trees.
Cedar branches.
Cedar branches. We had
maple syrup.
Maple syrup. We had
And
cinnamon disc
candy.
candies.
Wrong candy. DJ.
DJ got
God damn it.
he got fucking Wilford Brimley cinnamon candy, so it was sugar free, and it didn't convert.
So it's laxative.
Yes, it didn't.
Yes.
So this has a lot of like red hot character to it, and it's because none of that sugar fermented whatsoever.
Because there's no sugar.
Yes,
We
exactly.
fought the fucking filter at the
Put on
bottom of
Nina's
that
now.
barrel.
And you
Yes.
guys drained it over some stones.
Yes, over
Yep.
top of Mike's crystals that he gave me
Yes.
that he and Sandra dug up in Arkansas. Tiff got stung by like 2 yellow jackets.
I'm allergic, just so you know.
She,
I
It took
was
50 a Benadryl.
50 of Benadryl.
she drank, and she might have also partaken in some other
Hillbilly. Thank
things that day, so she was having a great day. Aiden actually got in trouble the other day. I should tell this story. So, Aiden, if you're watching, you know this is true because you heard it happen with your wife when we were at Benoge the other day. Remember what she said? By the way, Alan, when I came back to pick Aiden up, that was the drunkest I've ever seen him. And my reaction was I was working the entire time. You guys were all around the truck.
to be fair,
I've seen you pretty drunk.
so I'm going to throw this out there. Aiden is a giant.
Yes, he is.
He's like 7 feet tall.
He is
But
very
We hit his head on the beam, too.
Well, he
I'm
hit
sure
his head on the
he
ceiling.
can't even duck
Probably.
and he
Yeah.
would hit it.
We finished a bottle of scotch plus 2 bottles of bourbon that day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it was a day.
mashed in at Bexville, fermented here, stripped here, and then Kevin Rose came by, and then we spent a day distilling this with additional botanicals, of which it was all done by heart. I have no idea what they were. I don't remember. So
Is this in the barrel that's at work?
no. This
Okay.
is
This is separate than what's at
This is
work.
very-
when Kevin and I do these things, they're literally like
This is what we were doing when
It
the
never-
cop drove by here.
yes.
By the way, DJ, we didn't run, thank you very much. We all stuck by and helped out.
These will never be reproduced. Any of the Bootleg series stuff. So,
Man, I hope I don't get pulled over
Cheers.
later because
Cheers to Sparrow. Saint Sparrow.
I'm bathing my legs in alcohol.
Right. So is Justin.
Yeah.
Because he can't hit the hose.
You like that?
For sakes. Can't
I'm here for your comic relief. Hey, we're going.
Fuck
dark.
stars. We're going Storm Eater. Yeah, my phone's about to die, so we're gonna have to blast through this one.
Okay. I really like. There's a nice pungency in it,
Right off
but
the
in
front.
a very like herbal spice way.
Yes.
So
On the front, it's sweet, and then it hits you with the what do you guys call it?
It's also got a
The
really
astringent
interesting
in the
like,
back.
color going on.
So I'll say this: this is the only thing, and I've said this before. This is the only thing I've ever had that from mash in tastes exactly
Right.
like it did
Like the beer.
Yes.
on the day of mash in.
Yes.
It's that caramelized malt from where we drop the hot rocks in and boil
Yep.
that down.
That's there.
That comes at forefront, and then that stupid sugar-free cinnamon candy.
Well, we had
DJ.
issues grinding the corn too.
Oh,
That day.
fuck's sake.
Yeah, we did.
Fucking
DJ,
was sweating
another
using the
DJ
drill.
idea. Did not work very great. Love you, DJ.
but
We miss you.
the
Crawl
cedar-
out of your hole for a second.
The cedar branch is there.
Yes.
Like the caramelized bitter maple.
The
is
maple
there.
is definitely there. That phenolic,
Yeah.
especially the red maple.
Yep.
Have you ever had like a pot de creme or a creme caramel? You know, you take the dish, the little cooking dish, and you put it upside down, and there's that layer, and it's
Yes.
like layer of the sugar on top, but almost
Yeah.
like a gelatin type layer.
Yes.
That's what I get. Where it's not like, oh, it's so viscous, it's oily, and like
What's
It's-
the Mexican dessert?
it's like it sits right up on top. Flan,
Tres leches?
flan,
That you can buy.
Flan?
flan.
Flan.
Yeah.
Flan. Thank
So
you.
it's like that
Yes.
top layer, and it's like I just slid across the top layer all the way across, and just kept on going, and never like dipped in between anywhere. Just went.
So no.
It's also a quince, like quince jelly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Comes
bitter
through.
apple.
Yeah.
Like,
Kudos to everybody who helped
So-
out with this.
Yeah, that cinnamon cranberry apple type liquid quince. Yes.
The palate's changed a whole lot from the last time I tried
Yes.
this. But on the nose,
That's the last bottle, by the way. So
Oh shit.
I've still got half a bottle.
That is Mike's message
Yes.
to us.
Yes.
So on the nose, we talk about memories, right?
Big
I
red.
smell this and I go back to that day.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Nice.
what I can remember of it.
Yes.
That was a
Yes.
See, I'm still getting
I
experience.
don't remember the end of the day. Thank you, Hillbilly.
That was the most amount of alcohol. So we've done some stupid shit at Beck's Mill, especially when we did Hell's Half Acre. I killed Johnny Appleseed one time. That's a whole other story.
Why?
He deserved it, bro.
He's dead.
He
He's
drank
buried
too
in
much
the
and he
ground.
fell through my display. It was old. Then I got arrested. But that was the most amount of alcohol that I've ever had on that hill out in the open. Like, we're always like super discreet about it. We're drinking. Everybody knows we is, but we are, but we're super
Yeah.
discreet. We is.
Okay.
But with you guys all showing up, everybody shows up and they've all got boxes of booze. And they just show up for this demonstration and they pull their trucks right up in the historic demonstration place. And I don't have the heart to tell them, like, I need you to move your truck. So they all have their tailgates down. There's 3 trucks full of just booze. Just, it looks like a back bar.
We were parked down in
And
the
not only
back
booze, we had a plethora because we had ciders,
Yes.
Yes.
we had wines, we had fucking
seashells.
seashells that Tiff was pawning off on people.
There's a,
I had a bunch of seashells after the hurricane.
there's
Can't
a
help
lot
it.
of like Anjou pear mango
Yeah.
on here too.
I'm real happy with how that turned out.
Think of an Anjou pear, like a really juicy French pears.
Yeah.
And we did, so Sandra,
Not a Bartlett.
I sent Sandra, I think, maybe a quart of this, so Sandra's had it as well.
The big fat red ones.
I'm still hung on the cinnamon. I get a
Yeah.
lot of cinnamon.
What song did I play that with?
I'm trying to get the pear.
Yeah.
It'll come in, like all of a sudden, when you start to get that little bit of mango, search for it.
But then it goes back
See
to
the
what we
mango
discussed
thing, yeah,
before.
right.
It's weird how it went over there.
Papaya, sort of note.
Papaya,
there,
I do get
creamy-
papaya. Tropical fruit is what I get
I can see that.
off of it.
Yeah. Like a tropical food, like
Yes.
a mix.
Actually, I think
But
that might have
it
been
goes back to you and I talking before
mimic
this,
malt instead of caramel.
telling people
Yeah.
no.
This is
and
one
then
of the few
they'll get
things
it
that I will say the
afterwards.
malt doesn't offend.
It doesn't come off.
I don't get the malt.
No.
Yes.
Now, if you didn't have the earthiness and the cedar thing there,
Yeah.
I think it would be too much. but I think it complements it over there.
The only thing I would change about this, and it doesn't need to be changed because it's a one-off, but the only thing, circumstances being what they were, the one thing I would change is I wish we could actually had a fire and put the rocks in the fire and got some of that smoke character.
Yep.
But there's also a very precious memory of my dad turning fucking rocks.
He
was turning rocks on a fire.
I don't have a picture of him turning the rocks. I have a picture of him roasting fucking pumpkins.
I have that
okay.
too.
Do you guys get there's like the texture to me? And don't think of like texture like biting into, but the texture like mouthfeel, like if you put it in your mouth and you just let it sit in your mouth, Jello.
Yeah,
It's thick and the flavor is just like sitting right up on top.
Yep.
I agree with you on that one.
I refuse to rate this.
Yeah, I refuse to rate this too.
I'm not.
Cheers.
I'm not.
Pretty special.
This,
It's
this
delicious.
is above a 5.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Here, give Mike
Simply
a little bit.
because we all were out there for this.
Yeah.
Minus Christi, because she couldn't make it.
But I'm getting to experience it now, and I'm glad that you said that reminded you of that day.
It does.
So in
Yes.
a way, I'm still partaking in
Yes.
that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brian
You were
Cushing
there
showed
in
up, but
spirit.
he showed up at the end of the day. Like I remember when he pulled up, I saw him get out of his car. He walked down the mill. We were up at the Overlook at the time.
Yep.
Remember what I
Brian
said to
is
you?
the antique guy, right?
Yes, Victoria.
Remember what I said to
Victorian
you?
guy. Yes.
I said Brian can't be here now.
Well, yeah, because he shows up
Right.
sober as
Hey,
a fucking
guys.
pastor.
He
And
was.
we're all like leaning up against trees trying to stand up.
Aiden was standing against the truck when we got on the
Penny
hill, and
comes
Brian
up
came
and
over there, and
pukes
Aiden
on-
looked at me and goes,
on-
"You missed a great time. I'm
Yeah.
going home."
Hey,
Penny was not partaking, but she did end up puking on Kim's.
hey mom, I don't
feel.
Projectile vomited from like 5 feet away. And
Yes,
still got
great.
in
it was great.
Yes. The strongest weed I ever smoked in my life.
Justin would not let me fucking sleep with my Benadryl, and then we added weed on top of that. I was feeling pretty goddamn good. Thank you again. I love you, hillbilly.
What's he call her? That one girl. isn't
That
it?
one
That
girl.
one girl, yeah, that one girl, yeah. I told that one girl to only hit that one time.
I only hit it half of one time.
Right?
Bad times.
All right.
All right. I think that's got our tasting done.
8 in
Wait,
2
hold on,
hours.
'cause I need a still at
I'm
the end
actually
of this
still
video.
sober. That's the really
So
scary
hold on.
thing.
What?
Yeah, I am still sober.
Alan
Oh.
and Justin,
What?
watch your knees.
What are you
We
doing?
need a still, a picture, so I can
What's your-
Snapchat this.
Watch your glasses.
I thought you were sitting on the
Lean
laps.
in here, Christy.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
All right.
that was for my picture.
Jesus Christ. Just like I'm gonna sit on your glass.
And this is how we ended up at the hospital with the last bottle of Mike's moonshine.
Press.
In
Thank you,
Doctor
Mike,
asked how these things happen.
for making your presence today.